Hi all. In today's lesson, we are going to talk about a very important topic, and we are going to talk about relative clauses. But before we start, let's take a look at this picture. This is Aisha, and this is her father, and her father is a pilot. She lives in Abu Dhabi. Okay. Can you find a way that you are going to mix all of these information in one structure? Here we have a sentence, and here we have a sentence, and here we have a sentence. So these are three simple sentences. Can we mix them to make them one complex structure? If there is a way that we can mix all of this information, this is a fact, and this is a fact, and this is somehow also a fact, but we need to mix all of these in one structure. Some of you are going to say, Aisha, whose father is a pilot, lives in Abu Dhabi. What type of structure is this? This is relative sentence. And this clause is a relative clause. Okay. Let's take a look, a close-up on this. Let's take a look again at the sentence. Aisha, whose father is a pilot, lives in Abu Dhabi. How many facts do we have in the above sentence? Actually, we have two facts. First, we have the name, which is Aisha. This is not a fact. And then we have Aisha's father is a pilot. And then we have Aisha and her father lives in Abu Dhabi. So let's see. We have two facts. The first, Aisha's father is a pilot, and the next is Aisha lives in Abu Dhabi. So we have two facts. Do you know what type of the above sentence is and what do we call it? Remember what we said? We said it's relative sentence, and we call it relative sentence because we have embedded inside of it, we have a relative clause. This one is the relative clause. Okay, it's a relative sentence because we have a relative clause in it. This is the relative clause, whose father is a pilot. What are relative clauses? Relative clauses combine facts about a thing or a person. In what way? Let's see. We have my father, who really enjoys his job, is a teacher. Here we have two facts. The first one, my father is a teacher, and the next one, my father enjoys his job. So, relative clauses are a way to mix more than one simple sentence in one complex structure, like this one. So it's very academic, actually, to use this structure. And it's a lot much easier using it in speaking. Okay, when do we use them? Let's see. Relative clauses are used to give additional information about people, things, and places. When I want to add more information about somebody or something, like here we have my father. I can say my father is a teacher, and I stop. But I want to add more information about my father. I'm going to say my father who really enjoys his job. is a teacher. So I want to say that my father is a happy teacher or enjoys his job. Also, relative clauses usually start with who, which, whose, and where. Here we have who, like if I say my father, who. We use who when we talk about the noun, and the noun is a person. So who for people. Which, use which for things. And we use whose, like when we talk about Aisha. You remember what we said? We said Aisha, whose father is a pilot. So when we use whose for possession, and then we use where to talk about places. Okay, so these are relative clauses in general. Okay, now we have some activities. Let's take a look. The underlined parts of sentences 1 to 5 are relative clauses. Who, which, whose, where, and here we have who, which, whose, and where are relative pronouns. So we call these relative pronouns. What do the words who, which, whose, and where refer to? For example, in sentence 1, who refers to Aisha's father? Let's take a look. Aisha's father, who was a diplomat, wanted the best for his daughter. So if I want to talk about this who, it refers to Aisha's father. Can you find the relative pronouns in the sentences and tell me what they refer to? Let's take a look at the next sentence. The gliding school, which was in Damascus, was near an aviation school. So here we have the relative pronoun is who, and it refers to a thing, which is a school. So it refers to the gliding school. The instructor who sits behind you can take over. So where is the relative pronoun in the sentence? Yes, it is who, and it refers to the instructor. Aisha, whose father works for the government, lives in Abu Dhabi. Where is the relative pronouns? So whose is the relative pronoun? And it refers to Aisha. Now, in the last sentence, we have in Abu Dhabi, where she lived, Aisha became quite famous. Where is the relative clause? Where she lived. And where is the relative pronoun? The relative pronoun is where, and it refers to a place, which is Abu Dhabi. Let's take a look at the answers again. We said who refers to Aisha's father, which refers to the gliding school, and who refers to the instructor, and then whose refers to Aisha's father or Aisha, and where refers to a place, which is Abu Dhabi. Okay, now take a look at the next question. We have relative clauses give extra information about people, things, or places. In 1 to 5, which relative pronouns refer to? When I talk about people, what I use? Yes, we use who. And when I talk about places, what do I use? I use where, like in this example. And when I talk about things, I use which. And when I talk about owning or possession, I use whose. So when I talk about people, I use who. When I talk about things, I use which. When I talk about places, I use where. And when I talk about owning or possession, I use whose. Okay. Now, we have here a job, the wrong seat. They say complete the job below with these relative pronouns. You have to use these relative pronouns to complete the job. The wrong seat, an important looking foreign businessman. And then we have is wearing an expensive suit, gets on a plane. He sits in the first class area, is at the front of the plane. A flight attendant knows the businessman does not have a first class ticket, asks him politely to move to the economy area. The businessman expression suddenly becomes very angry, replies, I am an important businessman and I have an important job. I am sitting here until we get to Damascus. And then we have blank also, I have a very important meeting. The attendant is embarrassed, doesn't know what to do. The flight is already 15 minutes late. Cannot leave until everyone is in their seat. Eventually, the attendant calls the pilot, is waiting to take off. The pilot leaves his cabin, walks up to the businessman and whispers something in his ear. The man stands up and goes to his seat, is at the back of the plane. The attendant is completely amazed, asks the pilot what he said. The pilot's face is now relaxed and smiling, says, I told him that the front half of a plane is not going to Damascus. So, can you use relative pronouns to complete the job? So, you have 2 minutes, you can stop the video now. Okay, let's see the answers. We are going to say an important looking foreign businessman who is wearing an expensive suit. Gets on a plane, he sits in the front area, which is at the front of the plane. A flight attendant who knows the businessman does not have a first class ticket, asks him politely to move to the economy area. The businessman whose expression suddenly becomes very angry replies, I am an important businessman and I have an important job. I am sitting here until we get to Damascus, where I have a very important meeting. The attendant, who is very embarrassed, doesn't know what to do. The flight, which is already 15 minutes late, cannot leave until everyone is in their seat. Eventually, the attendant calls the pilot, who is waiting to take off. The pilot leaves his cabin, walks up to the businessman and whispers something in his ear. The man stands up and goes to his seat, which is at the back of the plane. The attendant, who is completely amazed, asks the pilot who said what he said. The pilot, whose face is now relaxed and smiling, says, I told him that the front half of the plane isn't going to Damascus. So it seems this guy is somehow stupid. Okay, now we have another activity. Choose the correct relative pronoun to complete the sentences. Take a look at the first example. We have Amy Johnson who was born in 1903, started work as a secretary. Now, I want you to take a look at these sentences, and you can stop the video, and you have 1 minute to do this. Okay, now let's take a look at the answers. She worked in London, and this is a place, so we have to use which or where. We have to use where she became interested in flying. She flew to Australia in a plane, and a plane is a thing, so we have to use either who or which, and the correct answer is which her father had bought. Any, who or whose journey had taken 19 days. We are talking about possession, so we have to use whose. Was the first woman to fly solo to Australia. She landed in Darwin, and Darwin is a place, so where is in the north of Australia. Her husband, here we have either who or whose name, but we are talking about a name, a person's name, so we have to use whose name was Jim Mollison, flew with her to India in the war. Amy flew planes from factories. We have which or where they were made to airports all over Britain. So we are going to say where they were made to airports all over Britain. Amy's plane, who or which had run out of petrol, crashed into the things. Let's take a look at the answers. So the first one is where, the next one is which, and the third one is whose, and D is which. The next one is whose also, and the last, and here we have where, F, and the last one is which. Okay. Now we have another activity. We are going to write sentences containing the extra information. And here we have an example. We have the plane was in fantastic condition. As we said we have two facts in one complex sentence. So, in a relative sentence, we have two facts. The first one is the plane was in fantastic condition, and they want me to add this inside of this sentence. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start. First, I'm going to find the noun, the beginning of the sentence, the plane, and I'm going to choose a relative pronoun that is going to suit the meaning. So the plane, I'm talking about a thing. We are going the plane, which was brand new, was in a fantastic condition. And I'm going to add two commas before and after it. Can you try do? Let's take a look at another one. We have the pilot welcomed the passengers on board. This is the first fact. And the pilot was wearing a smart uniform. I want to add this inside of this. So what I'm going to do is the pilot, and then I'm going to start. First, I need to add a relative pronoun. I'm talking about a person. So I'm going to use who. So the pilot who was wearing a smart uniform, and I'm going to use before it a comma and after it a comma. Okay, who was wearing a smart uniform, welcomed. The passengers sat down in their seats. The seats had no numbers. So we are going to add this inside of this. What are we going to say? The passengers sat down in their seats, which had no numbers. The cabin crew brought snacks round. The cabin crew spoke good English. What I'm going to say, the flight which was delayed by snow, no, this one. No, this one is incorrect. I'm going to say the cabin crew, which spoke very good English, brought snack round. The flight finally left at 10 o'clock. The flight was delayed by snow. I'm going to say the flight which was delayed by snow finally left at 10 o'clock. And don't forget to use the comments before and after it. Okay, the plane arrived in Rome 2 hours late. It was warm and sunny in Rome. I'm going to say the plane arrived in Rome where it was warm and sunny 2 hours late. The passengers were furious. Their luggage went to Milan. We are going to say the passengers who were furious, who their luggage went to Milan were furious. Okay, thank you.